Hey guys, Okana here. I'm going to talk about the best times and the best days to trade binary options. First of all, I think your question should be, what does best days and hours really mean? I mean, when you ask what are the best days, what are you really talking about? Well, the correct question should be, when is there a better volatility? Okay, so first you should identify define what best days and hours really mean. Okay, and also I'm going to talk about when not to trade, right? That's equally important. So I mentioned when is there a better volatility? That should be your question, and that is actually the answer itself, because when should you trade? When you have a good volatility, which you can see if you open your charts during the days and the nights, and you can take a look and you will see the volatility is going to be different. You're going to have good volatility, you're going to have higher volatility, lower volatility. So and what is volatility? Is the price movement. If you have good waves, good breakouts, large volumes moving, then that's a good volatility. It's a good market to trade on, because you're going to have more setups to trade. But if you have, if you look at these two pairs, for example, it's a good example. You have large movements. Let's look at the same date here. We look at from the 7th of June until today. And if we look at from the 7th of June, which is here, from the peak here, you can see it's not as good as strong volatility as the Euro USD. You can see a very large drop, very large retracement, while the Aussie actually being pretty much full of dojis, full of indecision, candles going up and down. If you have been looking at the lower time frames, you will notice this. Here's the 5-minute time frame. You see how quickly the volatility actually died today. It's very slow, not moving that much right now. It was better before. It's already dead. It's about 1800 GMT plus 2 here, so already very low volatility. And you can see that earlier as well, very low volatility, very small candles just going sideways. This is really bad for trading. So if you're asking when not to trade, do not trade when you have markets going sideways like this and very small candles not doing much. But if we look at the Euro USD, the volatility has been much bigger. I mean, look at the size of these candles. Look at the movements. You got a clear breakout here from this area, as you can see. Very nice and clear breakout right there. You had a breakout here as well on the Aussie. The same thing happened. So these assets are correlated. You can see both broke out, but you can see the volatility. If you have taken a 10-minute trade here, would have been well in the money, while here you see, so it would have been riskier because the volatility is so much lower here on this asset. So it's not just about the best times or the days, it's also about the asset specific times and the asset's current movement. So you should keep that in mind. Look at the Euro USD. Even at this hour, the volatility has been good, but not on the Aussie. And you can see that if you look at the higher time frames, you get the bigger picture. You see, okay, Aussie is not in a good volatility right now. It was before. You can see very large, very good, but now it's hit a resistance, very strong resistance. You can see that on the daily, very strong resistance in this area. Nice large drops from earlier. So it's not a coincidence that the volatility has stopped here. Price trying to still break up, but the bears are equally strong. So this is why this is one of the reasons I would say Aussie is currently so weak. It's not going anywhere. The volatility is so low. So keep that in mind. One thing is asset specific. Look where the price is. Is there support, resistance? Is it slowing down? Look at the candles. Look at a group of candles. Is it lots of dojis? Is it slowing down? You will see that. So anyone can see this, that the volatility is much lower comparing these two assets. So it's asset specific. That's one of the things I want to say. Another thing I want to say is that European banking hours are very good. Opening hours for the banks are good. Usually they're open, I think, until 16 or 1800 GMT sometime. Like for example, for me, right now it's 1600 GMT, which is 1800 my time, GMT plus 2. And I don't usually trade around these hours. Most banks I know close, at least here in Sweden where I am, most banks close, but I know most banks in Europe close because I have noticed during the several years I've been trading that volatility gets lower around these times. Of course, there is exceptions. Some days volatility is great. I keep trading till 8 o'clock here my time. So another 3-4 hours from when I usually quit. But some days volatility drops and you can clearly see it's dropping, like in this case with the Aussie. So when you see that, don't trade. That's a good hint. European holidays is also something to watch out for. You can look at it, look it up on a calendar, or ask other fellow traders who are in forums, or you can just look it up on the internet or look at the calendar. You will see often bank holidays in a forex calendar, like Forex Factory. So when there's a bank holiday, what's going to happen? Obviously, volatility is going to drop. So if most banks are not trading, they're closed, they're home, they're not trading, then volatility is going to drop. Not good for trading. News is also something that may indicate that volatility is going to be too unusual. So sometimes you're going to see that, like NFP, non-farm payroll coming up, and you can browse through your charts, look at the previous events when it's a high impact. And just because it's expected doesn't mean it's going to happen, because sometimes the numbers are not as big. The difference between the forecast and the real numbers are not that big. So not much will happen. Sometimes price just holds on, it doesn't move much because traders in the market, they know there's going to be a news announcement that's going to be really big. So obviously they don't want to trade before that comes out. So what happens is that you're going to see that in your charts. Again, open up a Forex calendar, look up some of the high impact news, and look what happened to the price before that news was out. You will see price just hanging around, maybe inside a triangle, inside a box or something. It's just hanging around and not really moving much. It's lots of dojis, lots of small candles, and then comes the news, and then you have a big jump, big breakout, because that's what people were waiting for. So again, it's about volatility, it's about specific things that can happen. It could be news, bank holidays, European holidays, and also times of the day and asset specific. Personally, I like to trade during days. My time is around, I would say, 10 GMT until 1600 GMT usually. But again, I don't just go by the time. Just because I like to trade during those times doesn't mean it's good to trade. If I'm not getting an opportunity to trade, then I'm not gonna do it, right? If I don't see anything I don't like, prices aren't moving, then I'm not gonna do it. So some days I come here earlier, but there is nothing good, and I just have to wait until market starts moving, showing me something good. So that's that, guys. I hope it helps about when to trade and not to trade. I don't think there are really good days or bad days. Some people may say Mondays are bad, and the thing is, some Mondays are bad, some Mondays are great. I have had great Mondays with lots of winnings. Like the first 30 minutes I'm opening my charts, I have like 3-4 wins in a row, and the market is good for the rest of the day. And then I have Mondays who are just outright awful. I open my charts and I'm sitting here 3 hours and nothing. I can't find a good thing. Market isn't moving well. It's indecisive, and so it's all about the market itself. Let the market tell you when it's best to trade. What about Asian session? If you maybe work night, I used to do that. So when I got home, I used to trade the Asian session. It was like 3-4 in the morning for me. That could be traded, obviously. Again, look for the volatility. I think there is some good volatility during Asian session. You can trade Euro USD, you can trade USD JPY. You can look at a lot of these assets that are also traded during Asian session, like Australian dollar, USD JPY, as I said. So if the volatility is good, go for it. So again, even there, sometimes during Asian session, the volatility is not going to be good. And also, not all brokers let you trade late at night. Like some brokers let you trade after a couple hours after midnight. Some brokers may let you trade earlier. So again, look for the volatility. Let price start moving, show its patterns, because that's what you need to trade. That's the most important thing, and then use that to your advantage. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helps. There is an article you can read. I will put the description below. It's at binaryoptions.site.com about is there really a good day and time to trade binary options. Check it out. Leave me a comment. When do you like to trade? When are the hours you like the most, and how is it working out for you?